We're live.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. It's where we blend spirituality and practicality to help you live a life of purpose and joy. You're going to want to stay tuned for the whole show tonight because I'm going to give away a free session with me. It's an hour and it's valued at $750. So you want to listen all the way through the show because I'm going to announce it a little bit later and see if you are the lucky winner. And if you want to enter the drawing, I give away a free session every month on the first Thursday of the month. And then on the third Thursday of the month, I give away a free class, Angels and Enlightenment Training. And in order to be in the drawing, all you have to do is just leave a review. Anywhere you listen to the show, we're on all the podcast networks and or on YouTube. And just leave a review. Let us know what you think about the show. And then we choose one. And so I give away lots of free stuff. Gave away a big class worth $2,500. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And so, it makes it fun, makes it worth doing the show and adds a little excitement to it. We have a special guest this evening. Before I bring her in, for all of you that are joining us, if you want to ask me a question, have a conversation with me, come in at askjulieryanshow.com. We've got Chris on the main soundboard, dashboard, whatever, askjulieryanshow.com main console. He works about 5 screens and about 3 different boards with lots of dials on it. So he's the magician, the man behind the curtain. And then we've got Samantha over on the YouTube live stream, and we're at Ask Julie Ryan on YouTube. If you want to ask a question and you're on the live stream, just put your first name, where you're located, and your question in the chat. And we'll be taking questions from that all evening as well. It's always so much fun to do this show every Thursday night. I really look forward to it each week because I never know who's calling. I never know what the question's going to be. I never know what Spirit's going to say. And I don't even see who's waiting because Chris and Samantha handle that. So it's as much of a surprise to me as it is to all of you, which makes it so much fun. So, Chris, can you bring in Johannah, please? And I want to introduce Johannah. Johannah, hi, honey.
Hi, Julie. Hi, I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh, I'm thrilled to have you. Everybody, I want you to meet Johannah because she is a graduate of my Angelic Attendant Training class, which I want to talk about in a minute here, Johannah. But also, she is one of the practice facilitators for the Angels and Enlightenment Training, also known as AET for us here at the Ask Julie Ryan network. And she also does client calls now. So you've been working with a lot of clients from all over the world too, right? For the past couple of months now?
Yes, Julie, since January. Yes, lots of
January.
clients. Yes.
Yeah. So you guys know that I'm just trying to always think of ways for you to get your questions answered. And there are only so many hours in the day. I only have so much bandwidth. So I brought in Johannah and 4 of her fellow graduates of Angelic Attendant Training, also known as AAT, who are working with clients now. And they're the whole buffet of psychicness, like I am, because that's what I teach in AAT. So, Johannah, tell us about what prompted you to do AAT.
Well, I heard you talk on Lisa Campion's radio show while I was driving one day, and I listened to what you had to say, and I was just so impressed that I set up an appointment with you. And through that conversation, decided to take your angelic attendant training and never look back. It was way back in 2020. And I think I was your 5th class at the time. And I so enjoyed it. It was on Zoom and made wonderful friendships and developed my skills. Loved every minute, still loving it. Yeah.
So, when you took the class, before you took it, did you think, oh, I'm gonna learn how to do this, or did you ever have any reservations about that you would be able to do this work, be able to communicate with spirit and do the medical and the past life and the pets and the tell how close to death somebody is and the whole buffet of psychicness?
Oh, absolutely. I had many doubts along the way, Julie. I think I would be somebody you would refer to as having so many doubts. Um, but that's what the practice sessions are about. You just keep plugging away and keep developing your abilities. And I just developed such confidence in myself. It really more in spirit, staying in the moment and allowing the energy to move through me and really recognizing that I'm a channel. I'm a channel for the divine energy to work through me. That's what made the difference. And, getting out of the ego and staying out of my mind. Like Jesus said, uh, leave yourself behind and walk on water. That was what I experienced. Really
Yeah.
amazing.
At the beginning, though, you guys, she kept saying, "Oh, I'm never gonna be able to do this. Oh, I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to do this. Oh my goodness, I just don't think I" and look at her now. She does clients. She's the facilitator for the online self-paced training. The key with these classes, and I'd love to hear your input on this, key in my mind is the practice groups. And on for AAT, for Angelic Attendant Training, which we're gonna do in May, the 17th and 18th, over a weekend via Zoom. And we already have several people that have signed up, several people that have signed up. But the key is it's the practice groups, because when you get to do it and you get validation that you can do this stuff, and then your confidence grows, and then over time, it's just second nature. Would you agree with that?
Oh, totally agree with that. And of course, your 2-minute rule makes all the difference, Julie. Because as soon ever as that fear comes in, you do the 2-minute rule and you're right back on your pony in the alignment again. So yeah, the doubts come up, and it's part of being human. Of course, the doubts are going to come up, but the more you practice, and there's so many choices throughout the week, it's remarkable. You can attend so many practice sessions, and the more you give to it, the more you get in return. And you develop such lovely friendships,
What
which
do you
is
mean the more you
really
give to it,
important.
the more you get in return? What do you mean by that?
Well, the more practice you do and the more commitment, the more you make a commitment to learning and practicing. And it's such a lovely environment. There's no judgment and no expectation of anybody. It's really welcoming and safe, which is really conducive to learning and growing. You grow the friendships, but you also grow your skills.
Mhm.
Um, and I think my heart will always be humble though, because I don't feel I'll ever get to a place where I'm really, doing. I love my sessions, but I feel like my heart keeps me humble always. Just it's the gratitude of being the channel and allowing the energy to flow through me and the information that comes through me for people. And each session I do is so remarkable because they're all different, tailored to the needs of the people. So it's a great experience, and my dreams are coming true for sure. I'm so
Well,
grateful.
the practice groups are free for life, as far as my life, as long as I'm doing this, which I don't have any plans to stop, and there are 9 choices a week, and we have them on different days and different time zones to accommodate the people. So far, we've had people from 14 countries take AAT, and from all walks of life, wouldn't you agree, Johannah? And people use very few people do this for a living, but they take it back to their regular lives, whether they're teachers or moms or dads or farmers or plumbers or doctors or whatever, professors, preschool teachers, and these skills, being able to communicate with spirit, get guidance, The medical stuff certainly is very handy, but I find that most people just take these skills back to whatever their life's journey is, and they fit in with any scenario. Have you found that to be the case?
Oh, totally agree with that, Julie. Totally agree. Because I think for most people, we've all had inklings of being able to connect to spirit from childhood. There's, everybody will tell you there's different instances, but um, getting older for me was wonderful because I was able to pick up where I left off, uh, having raised my daughter and then getting involved in all the things I loved. But yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody to make it your career, but it's so useful for connecting with children, connecting with loved ones in spirit that have passed, and of course the 12 phases of transition and the walk to heaven are amazing for to bring such comfort to families if they have a loved one who is in transition and afraid to pass. The walk to heaven can be amazing for them. So there's so many different skills you can learn, and some people do it for fun because they just enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So if you're interested, go to askjulieryan.com/AAT for Angelic Attendant Training. Again, the class is going to be May 17th and 18th. It's going to be on Zoom. It's for the weekend, and we're going to do it live. We've got several people signed up from all over the world already, and it's just really an amazing community. And if you'd like to schedule a private session with Johannah, again, askjulieryan.com and click on book your appointment, and you'll see her beautiful picture there. Johannah obviously is from Ireland. You can tell by how her accent sounds. And I always say she's magically delicious like Lucky Charms. So, Johannah, anything else you want to tell everybody that's watching and listening before we let you go?
Just a couple of things. I love to work with the fairies. As a child, I would go in the woods and the fields and connect with them, be able to talk with them. And they were such a comfort in my childhood. And then years later, I reconnected. So when I do my healings, they're very much a part of that. Not all the time, but sometimes they'll show up. They're so cute. And the other thing is that when I teach the Angelic Enlightenment course, that's really the highlight of my week because there's so many people come on, and to see and watch people develop their skills is just remarkable to me. And it just puts a spring in my step every time the class is ending. So I'm so grateful and delighted to be here. Thank you, Julie.
You bet. So the fairies are helping spirit working through you and with you to help people heal themselves, right? Because nobody heals anybody else. We all heal ourselves. But speaking of magically delicious, when you work with Johannah, you got fairy energy in the mix as well, which I love. So yeah. Did people have psychic ability before the class? Karen wants to know. Most people do not that they know of, Karen. Everybody has the ability. It's just a matter of developing and enhancing it. We've all had circumstances where we think of somebody and then we run into them or they call us or text us or email us and we think, ah, what a coincidence. I was just thinking of you. And that's your psychic ability at work. Everybody's experienced that, or you have like a premonition or a gut feeling about something. That's all intuition. It's super, super easy and everybody can do it. I've taught, gosh, now thousands of people. I think we're on class. I think the class in May is going to be number 23, Johannah, and you were in
Oh,
5. So everybody that takes the class within a weekend, within the first morning, you're able to do this stuff. So it's really, I think people overcomplicate it, and there's no reason to complicate it. It's super easy. And then, as Johannah mentioned, we have techniques to keep you out of fear, to keep you in the vibration of spirit. And the key is the practice groups. and they're free for life, and you got 9 choices a week. So it's kind of like, I use the analogy of, if you're learning how to drive, you can read a book, you can ride in a car with somebody driving, you can watch a video, but until you're behind the wheel of the car and driving, you don't really get it. And this is the same way. Would you agree with that?
Totally agree with that. And that's where the commitment to the practice groups comes in, And if you can't make one or two of them, jump on the one that you can. Um,
Right.
and it doesn't have to be the same every week. There's so many options. You can make at least maybe one or two a week. And the camaraderie and the connections you make with people is like an extra bonus. It's like having a tribe of people who are like-minded and soul sisters and brothers. Just remarkable. I highly recommend it. But the practice groups are instrumental for your development,
I
and
agree. And you got
confidence.
to come to the live training in Atlanta last fall and got to be with a bunch of people that you'd been on the practice groups with for years. And it was just like
Yes,
a class reunion. It was like old home week. It was a blast, wasn't it?
it was marvelous. And I had never even met you, Julie. So
In
it was
person. That's
really
right. That's right.
a bonus, yeah,
Yeah.
to
But you
see
felt like
the
you
growth.
had, though, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we
Oh,
because we get
absolutely.
so close. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
Great.
yes.
Okay. Well, thank
And
you for
the
joining us.
vibration. Sure,
Yeah, go
absolutely.
ahead. The
Thank you for having me.
vibration.
The vibration of meeting, when you have an opportunity to get together with like-minded people and from the training, the vibration is really like heaven on earth. That's the only way I can describe it. And it's like you're floating, and it's real. It's not imaginary, and everybody feels it. So
Mm,
that was a fabulous experience to go to Atlanta this past year. And I'm going to go again this October. So I'm looking forward to it very much.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Alrighty. Well, thanks so much for joining us from Boston. And
sure.
thanks for the work that you're doing. Thanks for helping all these people with private consults and also in the practice groups as well. So
My
everybody,
pleasure.
Johannah, askjulieryan.com. Just go on the schedule your appointment and you'll see Johannah's picture. You just click on it and you'll see Johannah's calendar. And usually you can get in within a week or less to see Johannah right now. So she's well worth it. All righty. Thanks, honey. Love you. Mwah.
Thank you for having me, Julie. Bless you.
You bet.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
All righty. Okay. So askjulieryan.com. Got everything you need to know there. Again, we're going to give away a free session here in a little bit, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, let's see who our first caller is. Okay, my computer's getting a little wonky because we have a big storm. I can hear it outside that's just coming in. So let's see. Hopefully it'll stay on. If I lose the internet, I'll log back on. This says, "Hello, Julie. This is Ken from New Jersey. I have your book, Angelic Attendance. It's very good. Thanks, Ken. I'm asking about a friend's mom. She's 95. I think she's in stage 6. Please ask her what she wants. Her name is Marion." Okay, so Ken, here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading up to you in New Jersey. And all right, got you. Going from you to Miss Marion. All right, got Marion. I get good job. I get she's in 7. So maybe when you scanned her, she was in phase 6. What we're talking about, for those of you that don't know, is my book, Angelic Attendants, What Really Happens as We Transition from This Life into the Next. You can get a free digital and audiobook download. Just go to julieryangift.com and we'll send it to you. And in here, I talk about how we're surrounded by spirits and angels and deceased loved ones, deceased pets. There's diagrams in there that will show you what the different phases look like in the spirit world. And so we all go through 12 phases. And it doesn't matter if you die instantly, like in the case of a homicide or suicide, or die over a prolonged period of time, days, weeks, months, even years. Everybody goes through the 12 phases of transition, and they're glorious. You're surrounded by angels and your loved ones and the pets that are in heaven. So, Ken, back to your friend Miss Marion, what I'm getting is phase 7. There are 3 questions I always ask somebody when they're in the phases of transition. Number 1 is, "Miss Marion, are you ready to go?" She's saying absolutely. That's pretty emphatic. Yes, absolutely. Number 2, "Are you in pain?" She's saying, "No, she's not. What do you need for them to let me go?" When I hear that, Ken, from somebody, it's usually with the reference of family members that haven't told the person who's dying it's okay for you to go. I find that people at the end of their lives, they're hanging on for the family members to give them time to get used to the idea of them not being around. So you may want to suggest to your friend that they and the other family members and people who are close to Marion say, "Marion, it's okay. Watch over us from heaven. We're going to be fine. We'll miss you, but you just go when you're okay with going. We're fine with you leaving." And that usually is what people that are hanging on are waiting to hear. So I hope that helps, Ken. You're a wonderful guy to call and get that information for Miss Marion and her family. Also, send them the link, julieryangift.com. Send them that link, and they can all download the digital and audiobook version of Angelic Attendants. And that will give them information and comfort and hopefully help them on their journey. So thanks, Ken. All righty, let's see who's next. Hi, is it Hedel?
Yes,
Hi.
yes.
Did I say it right?
Hi.
Hi, Hedel.
Yes, yes,
Where
perfect.
are
Thank
you
you
where are
so
you,
much.
girl?
I am in Darwin, Australia.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's already Friday there. We get to talk to you real
Yes,
time
it
in the
is.
future.
Yes, Friday
Wonderful.
morning.
Yes, wonderful. How may I help you? Do you have a question for me?
Yes, I have taken your training online, Angel's Attendant, but
Great.
I can't find the time to, because the time difference is so hard. But anyway, I'll get around that. The reason, can you please scan my husband?
Sure.
He is suffering from epilepsy for
Okay.
more than 10 years now.
Okay.
Um, and he's taking medicines, but they're not 100% working, and he's getting lots of side effects from the medicines. Can you
Okay.
please see what's going on and heal?
Sure. What's his name, Hedel?
It's Pankaj,
Okay.
Pankaj.
Pankaj. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to you, and from you, I'm going to go to Pankaj, and I'm going to ask his permission if I can scan him. Yeah, you want to move over a little bit to your right. There you go. Perfect.
Yes,
And I'll. Does he know that we're going to be talking about him tonight?
yes,
Did you tell him? Okay.
yes,
Good.
and
Good
yes, and
girl.
he's ready.
Yeah. So I don't ever scan anybody unless I have their permission, because I believe that it's an invasion of their privacy and it's an ethical thing with me. So, everybody listening, what I want you to do is I want you to envision what I'm describing to Hedel, because when you do that, we're all sending him energy, healing energy. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this live or if you're watching this 5 years from now. It's still the same thing, because time doesn't exist in the spirit world. Time's a human creation. And so it's like the power of prayer, Hedel. It's like we're all sending good thoughts and prayers and healing to your husband through you. So here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading down to Australia. Where are you in Australia?
Darwin,
Okay, where's that? What's that near?
it's North Australia. It's like
Okay,
on top.
okay, great. Well, good. I don't have so far to travel with my laser beam. I'm going to get to you faster. Okay, it's still traveling. It'll take a second. All right, got you. going from you to your husband. All right, I'm talking to your lovely wife. May I scan you? He said, "Oh, yes, yes." Like that. Good job setting that up. Yeah, yes, yes. All right. Shooting energy in there. We're going to work on his brain and we'll see what we can do if we can fix some of the neural pathways in his brain. The first thing that came in when you were telling me about him, Heddle, I before you even get somebody on my radar, I'm starting to get what I call divine downloads. I'm getting information downloaded into my head. And what I got was for to feed him a ketogenic diet. Have him
Okay.
eat ketogenic, cut out pretty much all of his carbs and go with protein and good fats because
Okay.
there's 100 years worth of research on how with children when they put them on a ketogenic diet it stops their seizures. So it works the same with adults as well. And if you can just do an internet search on ketogenic diet epilepsy, you'll find tons of research on it. And I think you'll notice a difference. Is he having seizures a lot or just if he's not
No.
medicated?
Yeah, when he misses the medicine straight away, he gets it. But otherwise, even if he's on medicines, he gets it every now and then.
Okay. So is he able to work, just not able to drive?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
good.
he's okay that way, but
But you have to drive him around. It's probably not a good thing for him to drive.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There's a guy named Chris Palmer, Palmer, MD, and he is a psychiatrist at Harvard, Heddle, and he uses this technique of the ketogenic diet with his patients who have brain situations, and he's used it for decades with children with epilepsy to great response for that with the
Okay.
diet. So there's that. So in the meantime, I'm going in his head. Brain matter looks like thick cooked oatmeal or porridge, and the neural pathways in the brain look like laser beams that crisscross the brain. Think of watching a movie where somebody's in a museum and they're trying to rob a painting or something. There's a thief in there and they have to step over the laser beams, that are part of the security system or roll under them or whatever. So that's what the neural pathways in the brain look like. So what we're doing is we're going to just use stem cell energy to generate new neural pathways, and we're going to integrate them into his current neural pathways in his brain. So imagine that there's a mold, like a plastics mold, and imagine that stem cell energy is going in. It's the exact configuration of how the neural pathways are set up in your husband's brain. And stem cell energy is the coolest stuff ever. It'll regenerate any body part we need. It's a light amber color gel. It has sparkles in it, of course, because, you got to have sparkles with woo woo, makes it fun. And then it reminds me of this hair gel called Dippity Doo when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s. You can look it up if you don't know what it is. And so that's going into this mold of your husband's neural pathways, and there's a vortex spinning above it. And that's going to transform the stem cell energy into the new neural pathways. All right, they're done. I'm pulling them out. And when I pull them out, they look like, have you ever seen that really thin rope, like string licorice, where it's on a roll and you can pull it off by the foot? You can buy it like by the foot in a candy store. They have it here. I don't know if they have it in Australia, but that's what it looks like. So that's going into the top of his head, and it lays perfectly on top of the neural pathways in his brain. And there's a vortex spinning above his head. And what's happening is those are integrating into the current neural pathways of his brain, and that's going to fix anything that's shorting out and causing the seizures. It's really cool. It's a healing that's come in fairly recently for me, like in the past 6 months or so. I always get to see new healings depending on what somebody needs, and then I'll see it used all the time. So it depends on what the person asks for, and then spirit sends me these healings that spirit works through me and with me, and you and everybody listening and watching to help your husband heal. So those are all integrated into his neural pathways in his brain, and they're all lit up. They look perfect. So the
Okay.
healing has happened on the energetic level. It's going to integrate into his body. And this goes with all energetic healings. That can happen instantly. It can take days, weeks, months, may need some kind of complementary care like change in diet. And
Okay.
it's always our spirit's prerogative. So it's your husband's spirit's prerogative. It's his choice on how to integrate the healing. All we can do is send the healing to him, and then his spirit decides how it's integrated because we don't know what it came in to explore and experience in this lifetime. So, yeah, so he got a big old healing. Do you eat a certain kind of diet? Are you eating like an Indian diet or a
Yeah, we are vegetarian pretty much.
vegetarian, but a lot of carbs probably?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah. So back off on the carbs. I would do high protein with him. I would do a lot of good fats, olive oil, coconut oil, ghee, butter, stuff like that. And I think you'll see a difference. And I hope it helps.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sending you a
Thank you
big
very much.
hug. Mwah. Have you seen
Thank
Johannah
you.
before? Have you been in one of
Yes,
her
yes, I
practices?
have done her meditation as well. She is
Yeah,
wonderful.
she is wonderful. Okay. Well, thanks for
Yes.
taking the class. I'm thrilled you're part of the community. Take
Thank you so
care.
much.
Alrighty. Bye-bye. All right, AskJulieRyanShow.com. If you want to have a conversation with me, if you're coming in on the YouTube live stream, we're at Ask Julie Ryan. Samantha's over there helping people. Just put your first name and where you're located in the chat and your question, and we'll take some of those. And then if you want to have a conversation with me and be on camera, we're at AskJulieRyanShow.com. So let's see who Chris has next for us. Anne, hi, Anne. She says, "Hi, Julie. I'm from New Hampshire. I have macular degeneration. Could you please help? Many thanks for all you do." Absolutely, girl. All right, here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading up to you in New Hampshire. Got you. Shooting energy. So when I connect into somebody, I have a hologram of them in my mind's eye. And so I envision shooting energy from your feet up through the top of your head, and it's going to your right eye first. I'm looking at you from behind. I have a hologram of you, as I mentioned in my mind's eye. I'm going in from the back of your head. The energy went to your right eye first. So, what I'm watching now is I'm watching the main part of your eye. Imagine if your eye was made out of jello, or down here in the South, they would call that a congealed salad. So I still call it jello because I'm a Yankee. So scooping that out, that space is being filled with stem cell energy. Of course, my favorite light amber colored gel sparkles dippity doo. And there's a vortex spinning out in front of that eye. My guess is that eye is probably worse than the left. Let me go over to the left eye. Yeah, you got it in your left eye too, but it looks worse in the right eye. Same thing, scooping that out. Imagine if you had like a big melon ball scooper or a small ice cream scooper, and it just scoop that inside of that eye tissue out. And then again, stem cell energy in there, vortex spinning out in front. And that's regenerating your eyes. It's interesting when I'm watching it regenerate because it's coming from the outside. So your peripheral vision is going to be fixed first, and then it works into the center. It always comes in from the outside into the center of the eye. And now what I'm watching is I'm watching your eyes get balanced, similar to what a leveler looks like that a construction person would use to make sure that the 2x4 is level. You get this bar thing, and there's a bubble, that there's a line that goes through it to make sure that it's even. And what we're doing, just because I'm in there, Spirit and I are in there messing around. So pulling the muscles behind your eye and tightening them so that that will help you with close-up vision as well. And it reminds me of somebody on horseback when they're holding the reins from the right side of the horse's head and the left side of the horse's head, and they're holding them in one hand. That's what it reminds me of. We're bringing those muscles in because that's what happens when we can't see things that are close up as easily, as the muscles get kind of lax. So if I'm in there doing healing, I'm always going to tighten those muscles too. Might as well. So I hope that helps. And thanks for your question. Thanks for joining us. We're at AskJulieRyanShow.com. If you want to have a conversation with me, we're at Ask Julie Ryan on the YouTube live stream. Remember to subscribe, leave a comment. You're entered into the drawings then, free sessions, free classes, free other stuff. I love giving away free stuff and it gives me lots of joy. So come join us. All right, let's see who Chris has lined up next. Hi, Sally.
Hi, Julie. How are you? It's great to
I'm
see you again.
wonderful. Thank you. You as well. Please tell everybody where you're located.
I'm in northern Alberta, Canada.
Okay, terrific. Got a question for
Yeah.
me?
Yes, and I'm a proud student of your current class as well, which is really cool.
The medical
Um,
intuition class? Yeah, isn't it
yeah,
isn't it
uh,
fun?
yeah, a couple weeks in. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm
Good.
excited to really get a grip on it.
Buckle
Um,
in, girl. It just ramps up from here, honey. I'm telling you. You just wait. Yep.
I apologize if my internet's not that great. I live in the country, so it's an issue sometimes. So I've been having um, some really bizarre things going on in my body for a while, but some of it I'm not sure if it's mine. Being a transmuter of energy, I've had like crazy heart palpitations that I've even gone for an EKG, like it got that scary. But I have an osteopath that said a lot of it is the vagus nerve that's going on, but it's just a lot of really weird things, and I can't seem to get a handle on it. I can use my pendulum and muscle test for a lot of things, but I'm just not
Mhm.
getting a read on what is going on in my body.
Okay. All right. So since I limit it to one question for everybody so we can get as many people on as possible, we're gonna look at your heart. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna look at your heart palpitations. I'm already getting divine downloads that it has to do with hormones. That's hormone related. How young are you?
60 and a half.
60 and a half. Ooh, I like that, Sally. Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's like a 3-year-old. I'm 3 and a half. Okay.
I can't
So
remember if I was 61 or not.
you had to think about it. That's priceless. Okay, so shooting energy, I already connected into you while you were talking. Shooting energy from your feet up through the top of your head. You look like a wilting plant. You look like you need to be watered. When I see somebody that
Wow.
looks wilted, you need hormones. Bioidentical, baby. That is the key. Keeps your brain, your bones, your heart, your skin, all your body parts functioning healthy. I've been on them 21 years myself. And so they're the exact molecular composition of what our bodies make when we're young and fertile. Are you familiar with bioidentical hormones? Have you heard of them?
Is it a pharmaceutical or is that
It's
a
a prescription. It's a prescription. The bioidentical are made specifically for you. Each individual prescription is made for the individual patient. The synthetic hormones are what big pharma makes, and those have extra molecules added to their formulas so they can be patented. So, research shows, Sally, that women that start on bioidentical hormones in their 40s and 50s have a 40% less likely chance of developing Alzheimer's or dementia. In my book, that's worth taking them right there because we're in such an epidemic of those diseases. So, what you want to do is call a couple of compounding pharmacies. Do you know what that is? A compounding pharmacy? They make prescriptions for the individuals instead of just pouring a bunch of pills from a big bottle into a smaller, container for the client. And just ask them who's prescribing bioidentical hormones through them. And then ask if any of those doctors are gynecologists. I mean, you can check with your NHS and see if any of the doctors in your area are doing that. I would do that first. But then I would call a compounding pharmacy and see who they recommend and go see them. It will be a quick fix. Your heart looks fine. It's just lack of hormones. Those heart palpitations are from lack of hormones. Easy fix, girl. Within like 24, 48 hours, you're going to be a new woman. So
Cool.
You're gonna be standing in the Wonder Woman pose all day long. So, you're gonna feel like a new person and easy fix. Your heart looks fine.
Thank you very much.
You bet. I'll see you Monday in class.
Yeah. Have a
Okay.
beautiful day. Yeah.
Thanks, Sally. You
Bye.
too. Alrighty, how are we doing time-wise? I'm gonna announce our free session winner here in a few minutes, so stay with us for that. See if your name is called. That's always fun when the person that wins is on either on the YouTube live stream or waiting in line to ask a question. So if you want to ask me a question, have a conversation with me, come to askjulieryanshow.com and then we can have a chat. If you're just coming in on the YouTube live stream, come join us at Ask Julie Ryan, and we're on all the YouTube channels. You know, we've got 5 now. We've got English, Spanish, Portuguese, German, and French. And so if you have family or friends that would prefer to watch the show in their native language, please let them know about that. And we'll be adding more in the future. So ask Julie Ryan on all the social media, on YouTube, on all the podcast networks. It's easy to find us. All righty, Christopher, who do you have next? Let's see. Tammy. Hi. Hi, Tammy. She's from Southern Idaho. Her 86-year-old sweet mom, Lynn, is in declining health. She's a type 2 diabetic and has had 2 heart attacks. Oh, God love her. Can you scan her? Yeah, absolutely. So, Tammy, here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, up to you in Idaho, going from you to your mama. All right, Miss Lynn, I'm talking with Tammy. May I scan you energetically? She said, why, sure. Good. We're having good luck tonight. Every now and again, people say, nah, I don't want you to scan me. Usually it's kids, which is really funny. So, shooting energy from her feet up through the top of her head. She's not dying at the moment, Tammy. She's not in any of the phases of transition. And how I know that for sure is when somebody's dying and their spirit's hanging on to the top of their head in the spirit bubble configuration, that's the power source for the body. So I'm unable to see inside their body because it's like looking at an x-ray in a pitch black room with no electricity. I can talk to them, I can get divine downloads, but I'm not getting a visual on them. And I'm getting a visual on your mom. So we've got that. All right. The diabetes, we're working on her pancreas. When I first got her on my radar, Tammy, she looked like a gumdrop, like one of those, or one of those fruit slices that they have out at the holidays, and it's in different fruit flavors, and they dip it in sugar. And so it's just like covered in sugar. So I can see the diabetes with the sugar. Pancreas, I'm looking at her from behind. There's a spiral of energy that's spinning in a clockwise direction as I'm looking at her from behind. Think of a spiral like the Milky Way galaxy spiral. Not necessarily a vortex, but just a spiral. And as it comes down on the right and underneath and comes up on the left side, it's throwing off this sludgy looking gunk that's in her pancreas. And it reminds me of when you make chocolate fudge candy, if you've ever made that, Tammy, and it's kind of globby and it's liquid before you put it in the pan to solidify so you can cut it into pieces. That's what this gunk looks like when we're roto-rootering out organs. So we've got that. All right, let me look at her heart. I can see where the bypasses are. And what it is it's an artery, and then they'll take a vein and they'll do like a loop and they'll bypass, they'll go over where the blockage is in the artery. I've been in on several of those surgeries back in the day, so I know what that looks like real time. So I've got those. Those look okay. We're cleaning out those bypasses because those are a lot smaller than the arteries because they're using veins to bypass so they can get clogged up faster. So we've got that going. That looks okay. All right. So the pancreas is cleared out. That looks good. Shooting energy into her heart. There's a vortex spinning outside of her heart. There's stem cell energy that's going in and around her heart, especially as I'm looking at the back, the low right chamber is getting a healing. So we've got that going on. But I think she's going to be around for a while. She's not dying at the moment. So you're a sweetie to call in about her. And I think she's going to be with you for a while. Diabetes, that's all that, especially type.
I think we just lost Julie, so I'll just wait for her to call back in.
Chris, you got me? Chris. Hello, hello. There you are. Did you get
We had you, but I think we might have. Oh, now you're moving again.
Let me refresh. There is a big old storm.
You mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, happening outside. I can hear it outside. It's thundering and lightning and pouring. So, you want me to reload or are we okay?
It looks
I think
like we're okay right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So back to the heart. I think she's going to be okay. I think she's going to be around for a while. She's not dying at the moment. So sorry for the technical difficulty there with the storm. See, I can't control that either. Okay. All righty. Let's take another caller and then we'll do the free session announcement. See who's next. Hi, Angela.
Hi, Julie. I'm
How
so
are you,
glad
my
I got
girl?
you. I'm good.
Me
And actually, I
too.
was calling about my mother, and she's in the gallery, but her vision is so bad she couldn't figure out how to raise her hand.
Oh, okay.
So
Where are
that's what
you located?
I'm in Birch Bay, Washington, near the
Okay.
Canadian border.
Wonderful. Is your mom
Yeah.
close by?
No, she's in Fairfield Glade, Tennessee.
Okay. What's that near? I haven't heard of that.
It's halfway between Nashville and Knoxville on the Cumberland Plateau.
Oh. Oh, I bet it's beautiful.
It is.
Okay.
It's really pretty.
All right. Great. What's
Yeah.
going on with your mama?
She has wet and dry macular in both of her eyes, and she's suffering
Okay.
through those injections. And she also has something geographical atrophy. I may not be saying that right. I don't remember that third part of her condition.
Okay. I don't know about
Yeah.
that. I haven't heard about
Yeah.
that before. What is it? Do you know what it is?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
I
I'm gonna
know
have to look
she's
that one
just
up.
horrified by these eye injections, and she really
Oh,
needs your. You can see
that's
her.
the
I
only
don't know if you can see her in the gallery. She's got the dark shades on and a magnifying glass, trying to
yeah.
figure out how to raise her hand.
Chris and Samantha can see her, but I can't.
Right.
So they keep me in the dark because they like to
Yeah.
surprise me who's next.
Yeah.
That's the only surgery that really gave me the willies when I was in that industry, Angela, was
Yeah.
the eye surgery. And when they were injecting stuff in the eye, it was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Well, it's not
So I
surgery for her.
understand.
It's just needles.
I know, but even the
Yeah.
surgery and the needles and stuff, it was just, oh, I
Yeah.
could take blood and
No.
guts easier than the eyeball. Oh.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
all right. Same thing. What I'm gonna do, I'm connecting to you in Washington. It's gonna ricochet back to my neck of the woods here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
All right, got her. See, your dog agrees. And um,
He
and
probably sees
then
the squirrel.
he probably sees a squirrel. That's his
Yeah.
job. All right. So going in, it went into her right eye first.
Okay.
And so same thing what we did earlier on the
Mhm.
macular degeneration. Imagine
Yeah.
her eyeball, from Tennessee, it's like a congealed salad. That's what they call it
Oh,
here
yeah.
in the South. And
Yep.
so getting that scooped out stem cell energy going in, light amber color gel sparkles, dippity doo, vortex spinning out in front, left eye doing the same thing. Interesting on the left eye, normally it's in the center of the eye, but on the left eye, Angela, what I'm seeing is it's a little off center to the left. is where the loss of vision is. So scooping that out, and then stem cell energy going in, vortex spinning out in front, and leveling her eyes like we did before with a
Yeah.
contractor leveler, construction
Yeah.
site leveler, and then tightening the muscles behind her eye to make it
And
easier for her to be able to see with
fabulous.
the close-up vision. She has peripheral vision now? That's the best part
She
of the
does.
vision?
Yeah, it's like a
Mhm.
black dot in the middle of both eyes, and
That's what it
when
looks
she
like
first
as
got
I'm
it, she would say she couldn't see my face. She could only see around me. Yeah,
ugh, yeah,
yeah,
so hard. So
it
that's
is.
when I'm looking through her eye, that's what I'm seeing. I'm just seeing the peripheral. But on the left eye, again, it's more over on the left side.
Right.
So, hopefully that will help with that. So hopefully
Fab
that healing will help. Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you
joining
so,
us.
so
Okay,
much. Thank
give your
you.
mama my love.
I will. She's
Mom
watching.
mama my love. Okay, mom. Giving you my
Thank
love.
you. A
You
million
bet.
thank yous.
You're
Bye-bye.
so welcome. Okay, let's do the drum roll, Chris, your favorite thing. I love it. I keep wanting you to get a trumpet fanfare. You gotta look for a trumpet fanfare.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can do that. All right. So this is what this person who's the winner. Again, it's a free session with me, 1 hour. We can talk about anything and everything that you want in the buffet of psychicness. We can do medical stuff for you, other loved ones. We can do how close to death somebody is. We can scan your pets. We can talk to deceased loved ones. We can talk to your spirit guides and angels. We can do past life stuff. We can do all of the above within the hour that we have together. And that's what
Yeah.
most people do. It's usually a combo platter of what we're doing. So, Chris, we got somebody that's in the background that I can hear. If you can mute them, please, that'd be great. So, this is what this person says. She says, Julie has the gift and is a gift to the world. How sweet is that? I've listened to Angelic Attendants. That's my book, Angelic Attendants, What Really Happens as we transition from this life into the next. I've listened to Angelic Attendants maybe 4 times now, and when I finish, I want to start it over, even though I have other books in the queue. She's down to earth and has a way of mixing spirituality with practicality and compassion. She's generous with her abilities and answering questions throughout the week. Listen to her show and you'll be hooked. So, somebody named NC Yogi, I'm assuming North Carolina Yogi, you have won a free session with me for an hour, valued at $750. So it's a really big prize, and I will be delighted to spend an hour with you and have you all to myself, and we will have a ball figuring out whatever it is that you want to do from the buffet of psychicness. So again, she's talking about my book, Angelic Attendants, What Really Happens as We Transition from This Life into the Next. And if you want a free copy, we will send you one. That's how important this stuff is, in my opinion. And it's a digital and an audiobook download. So just go to julieryangift.com, julieryangift.com, and we'll send you a free copy. Feel free to share it with all your family and friends, because as you know, we all are going to have people that are going to die, and we're going to be there ourselves someday. So this just really takes the fear out of it. Not today, but in the future, when we're all looking at that, we will know what to expect. And by the way, university-based research shows that 90% of people at the end of their lives see the spirits of deceased loved ones and pets in the last 6 months of their lives as they're getting ready to pass. And Julia S. says, that's me and my review. Yay, Julia. So just go to AskJulieRyan.com, Julia, and you'll see Ask Julie a question. Just send us a note, say, hey, I'm the one that won the free session, and my assistant Rachel will help you, and we'll find a day that works with your calendar and with mine, and I'll get you for a whole hour. It's so fun. The last several months, the person who wins is usually on the show, either in the Zoom room or or on the YouTube, and it's so fun when we have that happen. Every once in a while, I'll get an email from a winner and they'll say, I was driving to work and I was listening to your show and I heard my name called and I was squealing driving down the freeway, which is fun too. So back to what I was saying, that 90% of people, university-based research shows that people see the spirits of deceased loved ones and pets either in dreams or visions as they're approaching their departure from the earthly plane. 90%, you guys, that's a big number. So when we think that grandma is hallucinating as she's dying because she's seeing her mother who's been dead for 80 years, she's not. She's actually seeing her mother's spirit. And as Johannah and I were talking at the beginning of this show, those spirits come in and they're part of what I call the Welcome to Heaven committee. So they're there welcoming the person who's in the process of departing our earthly plane and going to heaven. So very fun. Congratulations. All right. If you want to register, or you have to register. If you want to be considered in the drawing, just leave a review anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're on all the networks or on any of my YouTube channels, or we even take winners from all my books. There's 7 books. They're all on Amazon. Just leave an Amazon review, especially for any of you who've read or listened to Angelic Attendants. I would really appreciate it if you'd leave a review on Amazon, even if you got it for free, because it helps people in most need of comfort find this information. And that's how Amazon, that's how they recommend books, is it's all the algorithm of people leaving reviews. And I just think if it comforts you, if it informs you, and it provides comfort for you and your family, pass it on. Give it to somebody that you love and leave a review so that people that you don't know can get this information. So I'd appreciate that a lot. Okay, Chris, do we have time for one more person this evening? Anne. Hi, Anne. She lives in Boone, North Carolina. She's 74 years young. Her daughter's 57. Her name's Jennifer. When she was born, they didn't record her birth time. What was her birth time? Okay. And she lives in Birmingham. She lives near me. So, all right, I'm going to connect into you, Anne, and then I'm going to connect from you to Jennifer. And so what's Jennifer's birth time? I got 4:37 a.m. 4:37 a.m. is what came into my head. So I hope that helps. I have an interesting story about that. When I was born, way back in the late 50s, some rocket scientist in the state record department in Ohio decided that we didn't need to have birth times on our birth certificates. So there was like a 10-year period where everybody born in Ohio doesn't have a birth time. And so I was getting my astrological chart done, and the woman doing it said, I need to know your birth time. Well, my mother was already deceased. And so I asked my dad. My dad, of course, was clueless. He had no clue. He said, when all 4 of you kids were born, I was in a waiting room with fluorescent lights for hours on end. I had no clue what time any of you were born. So I just called my mom's spirit in and I said, hey, Mom, what time was I born? And she just gave it to me instantly. And then I gave it to the astrologer and she said, I'm going to ask you some questions. And if these correlate, then that will be the correct time. And they correlated perfectly. So any kind of information that we need from spirit on any topic, past, present, future, we can get just from asking. And they will give us an instant answer. And how you know that's from spirit is it's that first thing. Fast as you can snap your fingers, the first thing that comes into your head. And then we go from that. All right, everybody. What a fun show. Oh, I guess we got one more. Sierra. Chris snuck you in, Sierra.
He did.
Hi,
Thank you
girl.
so much.
You
Hi.
bet. Hi. Where
I
are
was
you?
curious. I'm in San Francisco.
Okay.
And I have been having a bunch of random health issues and are currently sent to a bunch of different specialists. And I was curious if you could do a body scan to see if I could get any sort of info on what's going on.
Give me one symptom, just because we just limit it to one question. If you schedule an appointment with me or one of my graduates, we can do a whole hour and do a deep dive. But for the show, just for time's sake, what's one symptom that you're having?
Fatigue. Really.
Fatigue.
Yeah.
And has it come on fairly recently, or have you had it all your life, or
Mostly the past year.
most of the
But not
past year? Okay. All right. Here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, hooking into you, shooting energy from your feet up through the top of your head. What came into my head and what I'm seeing, even before I got you on my radar, was mold exposure. Are you in a new place? Have you had any water leaks, either at your home or where you work? What's going on with that?
In a previous apartment, yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's mold. And what I'm doing is I'm clearing it out of your system right now. And you probably have gut issues as well. You probably have leaky gut. And so just because I got you on my radar, we're going to go ahead and stitch that up to clean out the yeast overgrowth. So we've got that going. I would get air purifiers in your current home, like sleep with one in your bedroom. If it's too noisy, run it during the day, and so that you can turn it off at night, but it will have purified your air. Stay low on the food chain, Sierra. If God made it, eat it. If man made it in a factory, do your best to avoid it. Yeast loves any kind of sugar, anything that's refined, like bread, pasta, chips, cookies, cake, all that jazz. Stay away from that stuff. Not for life, just till we get your gut healthy. Same up. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire. So it exacerbates it. If you're going to eat fruit, Sierra, peel it, because there's tons of yeast on the peel. And never, ever again for the rest of your life, ever put a slice of lemon or lime in a drink, ever, because they're full of yeast. And if you're in a restaurant, think about this. They cut those things up early in the morning and they sit out room temperature all day. And it's just disgusting what's growing on them. Think about walking into a bar and they got like that fruit salad container thing with the cherries and the lemons and all. They've been sitting out for, 12 hours or something. Think about it. Oh, so avoid that. Peel your fruit before you eat it. I don't expect you to peel a blueberry or a grape, but certainly an apple, a peach, a pear, a plum. Peel that stuff because there's tons of yeast on the peel. Freeze and reheat leftovers because yeast gets on leftovers. And then there's a medicine called nystatin you want to get a hold of. And it's NYSTATIN. Think of New York and Staten Island, but statin with an IN instead of an EN. That's how I remember nystatin. Think of New York and Staten Island. And that will help kill the yeast. And that's what they give babies that have thrush. So you'll completely heal from this, but that's what's going on. You have mold. You have mold exposure.
Thank you so much. Can you tell if I'm currently being exposed or if it was like a past exposure?
I think it's both. I think you're still being exposed. I just heard a yes when you said I'm currently being exposed. Do you go into an office or do you work from home?
I work from home.
All right. I would have air purifiers in the rooms where you are, at least in the short run till you get a handle on it.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks for joining us. Okay, everybody. That's from sending you lots of love from Sweet Home, Alabama. Mwah! I will see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye. To enhance your spiritual journey, click on one of the videos below and remember to subscribe, leave a comment, and share with your family and friends.